beforehand. Okay.
Sorry.
Grand Rising, everyone. This is Ron. Again, it is time for us to see if we have any questions. It's Sunday morning, 29th of June. So a little after 11 a.m. So let's get started. See if we have any questions. On yesterday, we were looking at Isaiah 54. And as we do have as we try to all the time, is if not questions on other subjects, when we look at scriptures, we try to see ourselves in it and see how it speaks to us, and uh what do we glean for, what wisdom is there for us to see. So on yesterday, we were looking at it is talking about an awakening. It is a transformation, and it is directly speaking to us. It is speaking to our spiritual energy, and we are responding to it. So any questions or anything on what we spoke about yesterday? And I will add, is there anything you outside of that that you may have questions about?
Hey, good morning, everyone. One of the things I like to add, just based on what was talked about on yesterday, of the spiritual side of the left side and the right side, um, from a practical arena, which has a lot of spiritual connotation in it. A left-handed stonemaker or a left-handed brick mason, they're going to have an advantage in the crew of stone making a brick mason. And what I mean by that is the left handed brick mason will minimize confusion because you can meet at a certain spot real quick in laying bricks or laying stones. If your crew is all right handed, they're gonna be on top of one another if anyone knows anything about laying bricks. So from a practical purpose, the left-handed person brings a degree of energy, that's often, it may be understood, not be understood. So a left-handed brick mason minimizes confusion, and you can expedite the job a little bit quicker. And in order to become a master mason or master bricklayer, you have to be ambidextrous with both hands. So the left handed in that arena minimizes confusion, yet the left handed person also generates confusion unconsciously. If you ever tried to cheat off a left handed person paper, you can't do it. How they put that hook in it. Mr. George out of Philly, if you ever tried to dap someone up that their dominant side is left-handed, they gonna have to slow down for you because it's a uncomfortable feeling. So no matter which way it is, right hand or left hand or right side or left side, you can still have strength. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, George. Um, it sounded to me like you were talking about balance when you're talking about the Great Mason, and how easily it flows. So and that is exactly what we were discussing. That is what we are getting at and looking at this, finding balance within ourselves. And that's why Pastor summed it up about not focusing on the left or not focusing on the right, no matter what obstacles or what appears to be enlightenment in either area. Focus on your journey. Focus on what is straight ahead. Focus on the east. The way that you are described, the east represents beginning. It represents your strength. So again, thank you. Anyone else? Okay. I wanted to I wanted to look at that again. There was a couple of questions I have in 54. Uh, if you guys don't mind, I have some questions for you. And look at verses 7 and 8. You know, again in Isaiah 54. And I think we talked about a lot of previous verses. And
Ron,
yes, sir.
before you go to 7, let's look back at 6.
Okay, go ahead. For the Lord has called you like a wife forsaken and grieved in spirit, even like a wife of one's youth when she is rejected, said the Lord. Let me go back to 5. For the husband is your maker, whose name is in the Lord of hosts, and your Redeemer of the Holy One of Israel, who is called the God of all the earth. For the Lord has called you like a wife forsaken and grieved in spirit, even like a wife of one's youth when she is rejected, says the Lord. And I'm reading from American Standard. So, uh, Pastor,
The difference between 5 and 6 is that in 5, the husband talks about being a ruler or a master in the same vein as being Lord. In verse 6, um, the woman or the wife is talking about Esau, which is feminine.
Pastor, back up to 5. What did you say now?
5, it does not deal with a man. It's
Okay,
not Ish. It deals with ruler. If you
gotcha.
look at it, it speaks to ruler, it speaks to master. It does not speak to masculinity in that regard.
Okay,
In verse 6, woman or slash wife speaks to Esau, which is feminine. So it speaks specifically to the feminine energy. You see the difference?
yes.
So my question becomes, why is it for the Lord has called thee as a woman, as Esau, who the woman has been forsaken? To me, that is saying that the master, the one who guides us, recognizes that the cosmic mother has been forsaken, has been overlooked, and this is a recognition by the Creator to as to the position of femininity in this whole journey. Um, with knowing that you have been overlooked, you have been grieved in spirit, and you have not been looked upon as you should have been. Um, and it talks also about how long this has happened from the time that this femininity or this wife or this mother was a child. Um, she has been refused or she has been overlooked, but it does not deal with that in that vein when it comes to masculinity. Do you see that?
Guys, do you see that? Ask the question, please. Does that make sense?
My point is this: this whole chapter is primarily dealing with femininity, the
Yeah.
cosmic mother, and it really emphasizes between those two verses.
Okay. Does that make sense, y'all?
This is Vermel. I have a
Okay.
question. This chapter deals with femininity. So that is irregardless being you male or female, but our feminine energy side.
Let me say some things that may be a bit controversial, okay?
Okay.
This is not dealing with, this is not trying to placate masculinity at all. It's dealing with the reality as to how femininity has been approached, how it has been overlooked, and how masculinity has been dominant and has relegated femininity to a place of servitude as opposed to a place of leadership and guidance, a place where things are birthed for the benefit of humanity. So when we look at this, what we are looking at is the Lord or Jehovah saying that I recognize that the femininity has been overlooked. I recognize that the cosmic mother has been something that has relegated to the background. It is now for you to be brought to the forefront. It does not matter that your children have been bastardized. It does not matter that your children has been overlooked. I have not overlooked you. I have not overlooked your children. This is your time to come forth and be who you were created to be. This is the message that I'm getting from the first word in this chapter down to where we are now. Does that make sense?
It does. Also, though, and tell me if I'm wrong, specifically, what it also says that if the femininity is being overlooked and being mistreated and being rejected, it means that those in leadership, whether you talk about clergy or it's not talking gender specific, but it is saying masculinity, the male specifically has as well. If he is overlooking the woman, if he has rejected the woman, he is overlooking the femininity that he is as well. So he has been unfair to himself because he has not allowed himself to be feminine. He has not allowed himself to see the spiritual side of who he truly is. So that's why he has mistreated everybody else because he has no idea of who he is. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, it is. I don't think it's been unfair to him. I think he has been unfair to himself.
Yeah,
I think he's being totally ignorant of self.
yeah, yes.
And being totally ignorant of self has rendered itself to be selfish. That's if you're looking at it gender perspective, right? Because when we look at it in terms of gender, we look at it in relationship to a male or female.
Yeah, which I thought is where her question was.
Okay, it was that. However, what I'm saying in essence is this. It could be Hillary Clinton, she's still masculine, or she's a
Yes,
female.
yes.
Yes.
So I'm not looking at it in that perspective. I'm saying that whether it's a Hillary Clinton who's a female acting with masculine energy, I'm saying that it's speaking to both of them. It's speaking to the energy of the person as opposed to speaking to the gender of the person.
And that's what I was trying to say as well. Yes.
Okay.
Thank
Yeah.
you both. That
Yeah.
that makes me understand what I was thinking better. Thank you.
So anyway, that's what I see in this particular chapter. That the reason it speaks to us so loudly is because we have experienced more of this than we have in the past. And the this that I'm talking about, we have experienced is that we have conflated gender with masculine and feminine energy, with spirituality, and that is where we make a mistake. Uh,
Yes.
right now, as we look at this, what we are currently seeing is that the scripture is telling us because uh, the femininity has been overlooked, nothing has been birthed that is beneficial to humanity.
Yeah. I can see that. Yeah.
So it makes a difference. So now I guess we can go to 7 or 8 if there are not any questions.
Any questions, y'all? Is this clear? Okay.
Yeah, it is.
Okay. For a brief moment, verse 7, for a brief moment, I forsook you, but with great compassion, I will gather you. In an outburst of anger, I hid my face from you for a moment. But with everlasting loving kindness, I will have compassion on you, says the Lord of Redeemer. For this is like the days of Noah to me when I swore that the waters of Noah would not flood the earth again. So I have sworn that I will not be angry with you, nor will I rebuke you. This sounds to me like it is talking about something very specific.
It
Uh,
is.
what came to my mind when I read this, we talked some time ago about the Cushite kingdom and the collapse of the Cushite kingdom, the overthrow of the Cush. Uh, can this be referring to that? Can this be referring when spirituality in the earth collapsed or ceased to be and religion was born?
Can I look at verse 7 first before we respond to that?
Sure.
It says, for a small amount of time, I forsook you, right?
Yes.
But I look with great compassion upon your womb now. When it mercies speak to the compassion of the womb.
Okay.
So it still is talking about femininity. It says that for a insignificant amount of time, I have overlooked you. I have forsaken you, or it appears as though I have forsaken you. However, now I'm looking at your womb with great mercies. I'm bringing everyone, humanity together. Why? Because you're no longer being overlooked. You're that insignificant period of time that you were overlooked has now come to an end. And then when we look at verse 8, it says, in a little wrath, in a little anger, um, I I hid my face from you. My countenance was taken away from you, meaning that you couldn't even see my face for a period of time. Why? Why is it that we couldn't see the face? It's because we were we were trained to be focused on something else, not spirituality, but materialism. All of that I see in those two verses.
Thank you, Rick, 'cause I understand that right there.
The basic
Yeah,
understanding.
I'm a little confused by why the forsaking. I don't know.
That's
Is
what I
it
was
talking
at.
about something specific?
Yeah.
I released you. Forsaken also means to be released or to relinquish something. So it also means to be loosened. So if you were loosened or relinquish something, then I allowed you to go your own way. I permitted you to go your own way. And that word, when it being translated as forsaken, it makes it looks like that the Creator stepped back from you, but it didn't say that. It said, I loosened you, I allowed you to go your own way, which means that you exercise your free will to go the way that you chose.
Yes, I was looking at it from the perspective that the outburst of anger comes from the creator, and there has to be a reason for it, is what that got my attention. But you don't see it that way. I'm reading it wrong then, right?
I'm not at verse 8 yet.
Okay.
I'm still in 3. I mean 7, I'm sorry.
Okay.
In 7, dealing with the word forsaken. I loosened you, but with I have brought you back to me. It is a different I see than when we read that scripture that said that even I have to bring you across the rivers in chains, I will bring you back to me if that's what it takes. I loosen you, I let you go, you went your own way. And as a result of you going your own way, you see what happened. So now I am bringing you back to me. I am expressing great compassion over your womb, meaning that I'm showing compassion over what you are birthing. And then when you get to verse 8, it talks about that the idea of when you say a little is an overflowing or a flow of wrath. Um, or a flow of anger, meaning that because of the way that you went, I hid my face from you. I let you go your own way. And I did this for a moment. And now, what I am doing, I'm expressing everlasting kindness towards you. In other words, I'm bringing you back to me. Instead of allowing you to continue in your way, I'm showing you my face. I'm letting you see who you are. I'm giving you this opportunity. Does that make sense?
It
Okay,
does. I have a
Rev,
question.
Go ahead, Audrey.
No, somebody else was before me.
Go ahead.
I had a
whomever-
question.
Okay, whoever it is, go ahead.
Grand Rising, give honor to the ancestors. Pastor, it sounds like love that the Creator Source has for us. When you love something, you let it go. And that's how I see it as a relationship between us and the Creator. If you love something, you let it go. And there's more to it, but that's what I see as you speak.
Okay.
I'm done.
Let me see if I can simplify some more. I have given you the opportunity to travel your own journey, and you have traveled that journey. And now, as a result of you having traveled that journey, it is not beneficial to humanity. So the things that you have birthed are not good for humanity. So right now, I'm going to have mercy on your womb. I'm going to have mercy on everything that has come from your womb. And I'm going to present my face to you, my countenance to you. I'm going to show you, I'm going to give you a glimpse of who you are. And in giving you a glimpse of who you are, I'm being expressive of my everlasting, my non-ending mercies towards you. And as a result of that, I'm going to redeem you. I'm going to bring you back into the fold. That's what I see in verse 7 and verse 8.
Question.
Uh-huh.
If this whole thing is talking about femininity, and femininity was created by the Creator, it doesn't, I don't know, it doesn't sit well with me that the Creator would then forsake this
And
side of
forsaken is the wrong word.
the coin. But here's my question. It sounds to me like it's talking about the beginning when the Creator created male and female that were together as one. And then at some point they became separated.
Okay. I
That's
can
what
see
it
that.
sounds like to me.
And I can see that. And in my expressions, I was not talking about the separating between male and female. I'm just talking about going your own way. And going your own way could very well be that, the separating of the two in terms of how they respond or interact with each other. I can see that clearly.
Yeah, it sounds like it's the separation of the two, and then because of whatever, the feminine side got kind of a little bit neglected.
And forsaken is the wrong word. It should never have been forsaken. Because forsaken means that I left you. I put you out there on your own.
Mm-hmm.
When that should not have been translated as forsaken. That word that's translated as forsaken also means to permit.
Mm-hmm.
It also means to fortify, depending on the context of it, to relinquish. I relinquish authority over you, or I permitted you to go your own way. So when we look at forsaken, this is too strong a translation for what it's saying. That's all I'm saying. And
Okay.
being, and you go on your own way could very well be that you left each other, you know? That the femininity got forsaken, or not forsaken, here I go. The femininity got overlooked.
Because it also means to leave behind.
Yes. So there are several, it's the context that you take from this. And none of those contexts fit forsaken.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm just seeing it as the two entities who were at once, who were one being separated, and the masculine side became more dominant. That's what I'm seeing.
And I see that. I can see that. I do. I created both of you. I created these energies. And when these energies were clothed in skin, the maleness got to a place in the as they grew, masculinity became more dominant, and with the domination of masculinity, femininity began to be forced to take a back seat to everything that was going on. And now that femininity has taken this back seat, what do we have as a result of it? As a result of femininity taking the back seat, we live in an environment of pure chaos. And now that this chaos has reached a head, it is time for us to deal with it. So how do we deal with it? Rather than allow you to continue along this journey where femininity is being overlooked, I have made a decision to have mercy on everything that you've done, and that mercy is reflective in this manner. The manner in which it is reflective is that the cosmic mother is back on the throne, meaning that femininity is in the place of birthing more rather than allowing masculinity to force femininity to birth things that are not beneficial to humanity. And now that femininity is birthing things that are beneficial to humanity, we begin to see a change, which means that femininity has been redeemed from the back seat that it was forced to take. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. Seemed like it was somebody else that had a question though.
This is for Mel. I have one. Go ahead.
Go ahead for Mel if you were next. Was that George? One of y'all go ahead.
Okay. So is this analogous in the sense somewhat to the prodigal son often did what he chose, the energies having split, one chose to go off and become whatever it wanted, and the other was,
Well,
is it analogous to that?
well, the analogy is Noah. The analogy is given in the 9th verse. The analogy is saying that
Okay.
with Noah, I used the waters, and to destroy the earth, actually, and that's not going to happen again. I have sworn that I would not be angry towards you, or I was sworn that I would not show my displeasure in this manner again. So it's saying that the analogy is what happened with Noah in the past when this happened. When this took place, rather, uh, I destroyed the earth with water because of this, but now I'm not going to do that anymore. So if Noah is a metaphor, then what is it talking about? It is talking about the actual um, birth of masculinity being dominant. Because masculinity became dominant, the dominant consciousness in the earth was overflowed and washed away. And this was done in the story about what happened with Noah, but that is not going to happen again. It is different now. And so I don't see that as I don't see the analogy, us having to find an analogy for what is being said because it is written there in verse 9. That's all.
Okay.
George, you still have a question?
But even so,
Eh,
Vermel, sorry, George. Can I just make one comment to Vermel? But even so, Vermel, I don't think it equates to the prodigal son because the energy is different because it was sons. So whatever energy is involved in all that was a little bit different. If you see what I mean.
I think I'm not sure yet.
I-
I guess the thought that entered my mind was when Sage said, the word forsaken, when he was explaining that it means, it wasn't God forsaking us. He allowed us to go off but he was there with us, even if for that moment. It made me just think about the prodigal son that was unhappy with the father and son and went to find his own way. And in my mind, I'm thinking he did return. So in my mind, I'm thinking that's the kind of forsaking, allowing you to go do your thing, but you find your way back. I'm not sure I'm expressing this thought right, but that's kind of
Well,
how I'm seeing it.
I understand what you're saying, and now that you've said it again, I kind of, well, I guess we would have to go back and look at the words and
Okay.
decide what the energy is there.
Mhm.
As if it's feminine energy, then it does apply. But if it's masculine energy, I think it's a little bit different. So
Okay.
we'd have to go back and look at that.
All right. Thank you both.
Mhm.
See, 8, 9, 10, all three of those verses are inextricably tied together. When we talk about the redemption, I have redeemed you. For this is as the waters of Noah unto me. I won't let this happen again. It's not going to happen this way again. And then it says, the mountains will depart, the hills shall be removed, but my kindness shall not depart. In other words, no matter what goes on, I have redeemed you, and I have entered a new covenant of peace with you, and this will not happen again. Femininity will not be relegated to the background again. Femininity will not be overshadowed by masculinity again. Femininity will not be put in a position where it birthed those things that are not beneficial to humanity. So all those three verses go together. I've redeemed you, so I'm not going to let this happen to you again. This redemption has taken place. This covenant with you has been renewed. That kind of thing. Does that make sense?
What's the happening? That they will not be dominated again by
I
masculine?
will not allow, yes, ma'am. I will
Okay.
not allow you to be dominated again as you have in the past.
Okay,
Yeah.
So that brings clarity to me, Audrey, in the sense of the prodigal son was about masculine energy and its struggle among itself, with itself, as opposed to here where we're talking about feminine energy.
Yes.
I had that kind of correct?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you very much, because I was thinking the same thing you was thinking.
Thank you, Charles.
I mean, look at it. It says that in the middle of verse 10, it says that I shall not depart from thee, neither shall the covenant of my peace be removed from you. So the covenant of peace that we entered it shall not be removed from you. So where did it come from? It came as a result of the Creator not allowing this to take place again. This meaning that femininity will not be forced to take a back seat again. It will not be forced to bring into existence those things that are not beneficial again. Now, what am I saying? Am I saying that this scripture is there talking about that period of time when it was written? No, this is what I'm saying. I am saying that the scriptures that we are looking at, the writings that were written by those who are hearing directly from the Creator, these writings are set in stone, and they are to be understood, translated, interpreted based on, George, would you mute the phone, please? They are being translated, interpreted based upon the times that we live in. And if they are speaking to the times that we live in, then this is saying, to me anyway, based upon the times that we live in, this is saying that the cosmic mother has been placed in the background, and that has not been granted the opportunity to be what it was supposed to be. I allowed this to happen. I allowed this journey to be taken. Now that you know who you are, now that you have made every effort to reclaim who you were from the beginning, I am saying to you that I have redeemed you from what you were relegated to. And by my having redeemed you from what you were relegated to, it is no different than what happened with Noah. I will not allow this to happen to you again. You will maintain the presence of who you are in this earth. And at no point will you be removed from your throne, and at no point will you birth anything into this earth except that which is beneficial to humanity. This is the mercy that I am showing to you, and this is the covenant of peace that I have entered with you, and it shall not be broken. That's what I see from all of that. Does that make sense?
The message is powerful. And the other thing about, just like the truth that it is powerful in its generation, meaning truth doesn't change because of circumstances, but it is by the experience of the particular generation. And so it is just such a reassurance and such a powerful message that, because all of the things that we've been talking about and not being afraid and not fearing, this is the message that says, and this is why. So thank you very much for that.
Thank you. I believe that we are at this place where we are beginning to see with a greater clarity that the understanding of the scriptures is based upon what we are dealing with currently. And the understanding that we are being shown in these scriptures have not been shown in the past because it was not time. And because of the timing of the Creator, we are in this space right now where we are seeing these scriptures come alive, and the life that's in them are speaking to us right now. And in speaking to us, This life is saying to us, not only shall you be still and know who you are, but also be still and know that there is no turning back. Be still and know that regardless of how bad things appear to be, the floods may come, the mountains can quake, they can fall apart all around you. The earth can appear to be in a free fall to nothingness. But I'm telling you, it will not happen because I will not forsake you ever. I will never allow you to be in the predicament that you were in. I would not allow you to be your humanity or your essence to be minimized the way that it has been in the past. I would not allow the dominance of masculinity that came out of Europe to control the world anymore. You are in the position that I put you in from the beginning. Now that you see that and embrace that, you will benefit, you will be the benefit rather for humanity, meaning that masculinity is dying in that it will no longer have a death grip on humanity, on this earth. And when we look further into it, you have been tossed and turned by everything. Your every storm that has come has thrown you hither and there. You have been beaten down. And now I am laying a new foundation for you. I am raising you up as a temple that is valuable. And the value of that temple is seen in the stones that is being used to describe the temple that is being constructed. I will raise you up that and all for all to see the value of your presence and the power of your presence and the strength of your being, for all to see that there is no true life or spirituality without you being on the throne, because it is your womb that birthed everything that is beneficial to humanity. And no weapon that is formed against you can prosper. No matter what they do to try to do to stop you, it will not be prosperous. In other words, it will not hurt you. You are no longer vulnerable to any of that. You are, everything will run off of you like the water on a duck's back. Nothing will stick to you. The weapons cannot pierce your heart. The weapons cannot take your life. The weapons will not be able to cause you to doubt who you are. The weapons will not be able to remove you from the throne. Neither will it be able to make your womb barren. You will birth everything that gives life to humanity, that gives life to this earth, and the consciousness of the earth shall change. And that consciousness of the earth shall be as your consciousness is, and that is as above, so is below. That's how I see this whole chapter.
Thank you.
I
I
guess.
have a question. I yield.
Well, I guess in the beginning, the confusing part about it was the words that were being used in the chapter as if the feminine had done something wrong and deserved
Yeah.
this wrath. But that's not true.
No, not at all.
That's just how they made it appear for some reason. I guess it's for masculine dominance.
And Audrey,
But no, there was nothing done wrong.
in agreeing with you, it was done for masculine dominance, but if it had not been done for masculine dominance, it would have been destroyed.
Yeah.
So the understanding of it was reserved for such a time as this. Does that make sense?
Yeah. It does. I'm sorry, does somebody have a question?
I'm done, Evan.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Audrey. I was going to say, so the chaos that we're seeing in the universe and the destruction, the volcano, earthquakes, all these things that's taking place is because the feminine energy has been disrespected. And we may have said that before, you talked about it before. So this is why we're seeing all the destruction, is because of the disrespect of the feminine energy. That's my question.
We have said it before. And it's all because of the disrespect for femininity. May I take the liberty to talk about this for a moment?
Sure.
When we talk about, we keep talking about beginning, and when we talk about this disrespect for femininity, what we are actually talking about is that everything from the beginning has been disrespected. Everything that was brought forth in the beginning has been put into place or have been relegated to servitude, has been dominated for the benefit of masculinity. When we talk about beginning, we are talking about femininity. When we talk about beginning, we are talking about the spiritual essence of what femininity represents. Without femininity, there is no beginning. So when we talk about the cosmic mother having been not removed from the throne, because no one can do that, but the throne having been overlooked, the throne having been disregarded, what we are actually saying is that beginning has been disregarded. And what has been brought into our mindsets as beginning has been those things that are destructive to humanity. The history of spirituality was rewritten. And the rewriting of it was done through Christianity, through Islam, through Judaism. And all of these isms has brought into existence a lie that is called beginning. And the lie that is called beginning is the lie that has been perpetrated towards us, that this Adam and Eve brought into existence mankind. That's the lie, because that lie dominates the earth with masculinity. The lie that Moses is a individual person who brought deliverance, who birthed a group of people out of this tight place called in the Bible Egypt. All of these masculine terms in the scriptures were put there as a lie. And they are not beginning. They have nothing to do with beginning. They are concepts that are reflective of beginning that has been made to mean something totally different. So when we talk about the throne, when we talk about beginning, we are talking about femininity. And when this chapter talks about the forsaken, the allowance of it to travel in a different direction, what the Creator is saying is that I allowed these things to take place. Why? Because you in these human bodies had to come to an understanding of what beginning really is. And when you understand that beginning is really speaking of the womb of beginning, the womb of the cosmic mother, when you embrace that as a reality, then you will know that you are God. And at that point, you will be still. You will no longer perpetrate what you have been taught to perpetrate. You will begin to listen to the ancestors, and they will guide you along this way. And as the ancestors guide you along this way, you will begin to see that I allowed this to happen for a reason. In order for you to be who you were created to be, you recognize that you are divine. So now that you are divine, then what you have an obligation to do is change the mindset of masculinity. And that mindset of dominance of masculinity must be altered. And in doing so, you must also understand that I will not allow you to be relegated to the back seat again. I will not permit any of them to be able to stop you. So whatever happens around you, whether it is a deportation, mass deportation, or whether it is racism or redlining, it doesn't matter anymore. What matters is that you realize that you are beginning, and you are the beginning for humanity right now. And just like I promised you that when the waters flooded, and during the period of Noah, I told you it would not happen again. I'm telling you now that what happened before will never happen to you again. And when it says that no weapon that formed against you shall prosper, what it's actually saying is that there is absolutely positively nothing that anyone can do to stop this movement. They cannot turn you away from your journey. They cannot defeat you in any way whatsoever. And I will not even allow you to defeat yourself, because I will keep you cognizant of who you are. And every time that you get despondent, every time that you are distracted, I will remind you of who you are. And when I remind you of who you are, you will continue this journey. And as a result of your continuing this journey, humanity will be redeemed by you, just as I have redeemed you from what you were relegated to. Does that make sense?
Ashe.
It makes a lot of sense. Yeah, Ashe. So,
Ashe.
Pastor
Ashe.
Jay, okay, so the physical part that we're seeing is the disrespect of the feminine energy. What about with the males? Are they disrespecting the feminine energy that they are as well? Because I think about the law of correspondence as above, so below, as within, so without. So my question is,
No. The reality is this. The reality is that females and males have disrespected femininity. All of mankind has. Just like a male has a man, a European mentality, the women have had a European mentality too. So I'm not talking about men and women. I'm talking about manifestations. Because when a woman allows a man to call her a bitch or a hoe, then she is disrespecting femininity in that regard. So I am saying that it is a mindset that's been redeemed. And the mindset that has been redeemed is the understanding that the male seed did not bring anything into existence. It is the womb of the female that delivered everything. Does that make sense? Why do I say
yes,
that? Because the male seed does nothing except lay there. Because it is it is the egg that makes the choice as to which sperm it's going to choose. The sperm does not race to an egg. The egg attracts the sperm that it wants. So I am saying in that regard, femininity has abdicated its responsibility in the earth. And I'm saying that it was necessary for femininity to do that in order to bring us to a place where we embrace the reality that in these living bodies of ours, we are still Elohim. And when we embrace that reality, it is then that femininity begins to release it, to be released from this bondage that it has been in. Excuse me. So we are not talking about anything feminine here. And we are, I'm not feminine, I'm sorry, physical. We are talking about spirituality. Why? Because the physical does not exist without the spiritual. Whatever happens physically is a manifestation of what's taking place spiritually. Does that make sense?
yes,
So
it does.
everything that has manifested in this physical world in terms of masculine domination had its origin in spirituality. And the origin, you say, well, how is it that God allowed this to happen? Well, it happened so that we could be God. Because if you cannot create in your image and likeness, you are not God. So you have to have the substance to create with. And the substance that we have been given to create with is the chaos. And the chaos of masculinity being in charge is the chaos that we have been given as a substance to bring balance to humanity and create in our image and likeness, which is love, mercy, kindness, etc. Does that make sense?
It does.
Yes, thank you.
I don't know what others are experiencing right now, but I'm just vibrating and resonating with the power of your words and the word of power that you're giving us. And I say, I hear and I receive. I say.
Ashe.
Thank you. Any questions or comments? Because this is resonating deeply with me. I see this. I see I see the vanity of religion more so than I ever have seen it before. And at the same time, I see the necessity of that vanity more than I've ever seen it before. We are the essence of what was intended from beginning, from femininity, from the womb. That's the essence of who we are. The question is, what are you going to do with it? What are you going to do with it? Are you truly going to embrace it and be who you were created to be? And let me also add this. If you choose not to, that's on you. It doesn't take but one. If for but one, will you save the city? If it's for but one, will you bring deliverance to humanity? And the voice says a resounding yes. If it's only one who cries in the wilderness, if it's only one who lifts its voice for deliverance for humanity, I will respond to that cry. I will answer that cry. I will deliver humanity based upon that one realizing who it is. Because when that one cries out for all, that one becomes all. And you cannot say, I am you and you are me, and not be the all. So that one voice is more powerful than all the human voices that's crying out to be what it wants to be. That one voice of spirituality, of spiritual decency, of spiritual desire overshadows all of those voices that desire to remain in bondage. And that freedom of that cry is what brings everyone out of bondage. And they don't realize that they were in bondage until they are out of bondage and look back as to where they came from. And that's when they see the bondage that they have suffered, have lived in and have embraced without even knowing that they have embraced it. I'm done. I'm done.
Hey, Ron.
Yes, sir.
No one ever went back to George's question.
Okay, thank you, Charles. George, is he still on? Do you still have a question, George? Sorry about that. Thanks, Charlie. I don't see him on right now. He may have gotten busy. Anyone else? Questions or comments? Okay. Okay, why don't we pause here then? It's a little after 12 and pick up tomorrow evening if there are no questions. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Pastor. Very powerful. Questions, comments? Your energy. Thank you.
Thank you.
All righty. Well, you guys have a great day. Again, if you have questions, jot them down and we'll begin here tomorrow. Have a good day. Thanks.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank
Have a good day, everybody.